Charlie. Do you like bathing beauties?
I don't know. I never bathed one.
Yeah. Don't.
You used that appropriately
Also-
today with Trump getting like imprisoned.
Yeah.
That was a winning.
I
you
mean,
lose
okay,
fuckface.
but the collective feedback from anyone I've mentioned that these buttons exist has been like, oh, no.
It was mostly the first time just doing it because I could. And I think I'm probably gonna forget they exist, and then maybe
You just used it, so I'm not.
but later on, once we're I'll be like, oh yeah, this thing has buttons, and
You're gonna
like,
get more
oh,
buttons.
No. So I'm gonna spend September paring down.
That's
episodes.
next week. That's this week.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Start in September. Take me a month. I spend most of my day in front of a computer. I'll just spend it working on this. Okay. August was my Transformer month. So we all ready to start?
Oh yeah, I got notes that'll probably not be helpful since we just watched it. So. It keeps on track at least, kind of idea.
Yeah.
When was the third dance scene, Corey? Well, you think.
Immediately, immediately after the first and second dance
Yeah.
scene.
First one is 5, 10, 13.
There you go.
Oh boy.
Dance, dance, dance.
Dance.
All right.
It's a revolution.
It's the dance.
Welcome everybody to the Podwhackers podcast. I'm Nick, and I'm here with Corey and Ro. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. Again, as always. Today we're recording live at the Piranha's Den. That's what I call my... Because, piranhas
Like the movie
have den.
where that guy gets his dick bit off.
That was
That was
Canadian
Piranha
actor.
Double D or
I thought that was the
3D.
first one.
Piranha
it's
3D.
Yeah, is that not
Yeah, that's-
number one?
No,
3D.
What? I thought somebody got their dick bit off in all of them.
No.
not in the original one.
No,
What?
the original...
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you
the
positive?
The one that you're talking about was a remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only seen one and I hated it, but I know that someone's penis got burped up.
Yeah, that's...
because
I thought that was the one that came out.
no, that one came out in like what, the 2000s?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
the,
that's
the
what
dude's fucking the gal.
Yeah,
and
when did
she
the
has a
other one?
piranha,
When did the original come out?
Like in
19...
the
like late 70s.
Okay, well then that's not
Yeah.
what I mean. I
Sorry.
mean like the one that the new one.
the new
Okay.
series. Correct, that is the first one.
Yeah. Had the guy whose dick gets eaten was
Yeah.
Canadian actor Jerry O'Connell of Sliders fame.
Oh fuck.
He's also a voice on that Star Trek comedy show, The Lower Decks.
Oh yeah, I keep meaning to watch that, but every time I see it, I get really annoyed because I know that Olin Rogers did Final Space, which was like a love project from an indie guy, and I was like, okay, cool, like there's a really unique animated series.
I'm going to interject for a moment. If you hear, if you
Is
hear
that
this,
I can
Is that
hear
Mr.
clickety
Matches?
clack.
Yeah, if you,
It's funny because he's on the other side of the door now.
oh no, well, Mr. Matches, come over on this side.
He's like, how did I get here? My people.
So
He
if
phased through.
if you hear clickety clacks, it's my cat because we closed the door. My mother is on the phone upstairs, and I don't want her to know about any sort of wiretaps that we have on her phone. But
You also won't hear Gimli whining for once.
yeah, Gimli doesn't really whine.
He
You don't really notice it.
Well,
You can hear it over Nick.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's it.
I can hear it.
I'm really loud, so it's one of the benefits.
came
You're
today.
welcome.
So far.
Yeah,
It's because we're at his house.
so Jerry O'Connell. It's Lower Decks. Before we start talking about the movie we actually just watched, Lower Decks. The thing I don't like about it is that it's too much inside baseball. Like it's.
What?
I don't.
I thought it was Star
okay.
Trek.
So inside baseball is kind of it's a phrase that people commonly use. Like it's
so common. Ro looks really. She's confident.
It's fine. You know what?
so the phrase inside baseball was coined like when somebody's talking about baseball, but they're talking about shit that only like baseball players and like staff know. So Star Trek
It's
lower.
like, it's what do you call it? It's like lingo. It's not. Yeah, I would say like any professional lingo that is
So
specific to that profession. Or,
Okay, got it. Gotcha.
Good to know.
While
yeah,
lower.
okay. They talk a lot about Star Trek shit that is not quite common knowledge. That maybe, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
a lot of
Got
it, they lean too much on making making referential jokes. And while there is a decent amount of just plain old comedy, it's like a lot of the lore jokes are so deep cut. And it's like, I know them.
Okay.
But also, like, watching a show like that is like watching a bunch of nerds just going like, I'm making jokes about Star Trek.
Why the fuck would you watch a Star Trek themed podcast though, and then be like, "Why are these fucking nerds making all these fucking jokes about?" That's the whole thing.
It's a TV show.
Oh,
it's a TV show. But it's like listening to like your nerdy friends like make jokes about a show that like, and they're talking about like really obscure plot points or like nuances, and it just reminds me a lot of a part of high school that I really hated. Like, I was a nerd. Like, don't get me.
I was gonna say, I'm like talking about specific plot points of things that no one else. Yeah,
we're definitely not doing that.
Yeah, looking around, I'm like, oh yeah, all those movies are probably.
There's a lot of Mystery Science Theater over there.
Mystery fucking.
Listen,
I'm just saying, if you're a hater,
what we do is different.
Nothing.
Because we're informing an audience and telling them whether or not they should watch this movie. And then they'll probably disregard us.
Have we had a positive review for that?
What movie did I not hate? I think there was one I didn't hate the most. I actually didn't hate Chainsaw Cheerleaders near the end as much as I thought.
It's on my Amazon wish list. I'm waiting for it to pop up. There's a copy of it somewhere.
It's on PornHub for free.
Why don't you just rip it off YouTube and burn your own disc, print a custom label, tell people you bought it?
Is that what you do? With your definitely not too niche things that people will definitely understand.
No. A lot of those I bought when they first came out.
Before anyone even knew.
Before they were long out of print and you have to spend hundreds of dollars and
no one's spending hundreds of dollars.
I've got an original vinyl of Beelzebub's Dirtbags. What vinyl?
Vinyl? I was like, what?
Actually,
I just bought a vinyl of Bub and Doug McKenzie's. What was it? Not Canadian Bacon, but one of the other movies that they did. I have the vinyl in my car. I bought it for $3.
I have Bruce Willis's single on vinyl, actually.
That was for sale on the 24-hour bid here in Comox Valley, and I was so close to buying it.
I bought mine off Marketplace.
It went up to $50.
Mine was fun. Mine's like the little records or whatever.
Oh, the 7-inch, the 45.
Yeah, but I did. I think it was like $5 on Marketplace.
Yeah, this was like full, big, like full
he
record.
He looks good. He looks good on that cover.
Yeah, it's a good
looking.
Great.
Before the thing with his brain.
Okay, all right. He still looks good. You can still look...
yeah, he's still looking pretty good.
Oh my god.
I prefer him as a bald man.
Does he have hair now?
No, he's got...
I didn't think about that. I'm like, did he...
shaves his head. He had a pronounced widow's peak most of his adult life.
Whatever, he still made it look good.
I don't know.
I'm trying to remember when that actually happened. Because
what, the brain thing? That was last year?
No.
Oh my god, leave
not the brain.
Leave Bruce Willis alone. That's not who we're talking about today.
To finish off your side tangent with Lower Decks, it's kind of like when I hear people doing those kind of comedies that are so specific and they're so catered and so nerdy. I'm like, I get it. I'm really passionate about like my nerdy things. I love D&D and all that shit. But people are like, oh my god, like you're a nerd. You should watch a Big Bang Theory. I'm like, I grew up with these kids. I probably was one of these kids that like every single one of them. I probably was that at one point in my life. No, I don't want to relive this ever again. And then I watched it and I'm like, this is fake nerdy. Like nobody is like this that I've met. There's elements of it, but nobody's like that.
Yeah. Well, I also...
How did we get from Star Trek to Big Bang?
Well, it's because like the idea of like, you know, that specific like nerd and kind of idea, and like Big Bang tried to be like, oh, we're going to focus on this kind of nerdiness, and they're obviously into everything. And I'm like, nobody has that much money, even as much as they would probably make.
Yeah.
Nobody has that much time, except for maybe Sheldon, because, you know, he's brilliantly, because he has Asperger's, or is he autistic in that? I can't remember. Like he's supposed to be like so brilliantly
he's somewhere
fixated
on the spectrum. He's on the annoying part of the spectrum.
Okay.
That's the part of the spectrum reserved only for that character. Nobody in real life.
Something Parsons. Parsons, isn't that his last name? Something Parsons.
Like his actor.
Yeah.
Does he actually have that condition?
No.
I'm just saying.
The
like,
character.
I'm just trying to remember the guy's name. Like something Parsons. I thought.
I can't remember.
So he was pretending he was on the spectrum. So he was an actor pretend. He's the monster in this conversation, not me.
It is really odd when people play others with
disabilities.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm okay with that, but at the same time, you're looking and like, I kind of actually like the side tangent before we get to it. It's almost like the idea, because I saw the people getting really pissed off at a movie I have not seen yet, which is Brendan Fraser and The Whale. And talking about like, well, you didn't have somebody that obese playing. I'm like, no Hollywood actor that I know of is as big as that.
That is a whole other issue. That is a whole other thing, though.
I want to hear your thoughts because I was
because
I was intrigued by it because I was like, huh.
There's no space. Like the reason that there's no actors who would look like that, or perhaps like no one is making space for it. Like who the fuck?
Oh yeah.
Like, have you not? Did you guys live through the early 2000s? Like the amount of women or like whatever that were just like fat for just being like a regular normal. Like imagine being anything more than that, even as a man trying to get in. Like like fat was for comedy, and it still seems to be to this day like a punchline. But the reason that no one and like but like the same with why they are hiring so many people. And I know there's been a few movies that have gotten in trouble for like autistic or characters played by like very much not
Hugh Grant is
autistic, and then characterize like making it kind of a caricature. It's because everyone wants to make it seem as though it's too difficult. It's too hard, or there aren't any actors that look like that. I'm like, there's probably a ton, but like, are you letting them in the door,
or even
are they getting told that they look like fucking shit and need to go home and like never being taken seriously? Because until you make the space for those people to exist in that world, in that realm, like we can't.
I'm just still mad about the Hugh Grant thing, casting him as an Oompa Loompa. They know about the Lollipop Guild, so why didn't they just? Sorry,
to his point,
are you talking about?
So in the new live action,
yes, I've seen him sing. He's like, once I start singing, I can't stop. Timothy Chalamet is giving.
Yeah, it's really weird how you could have people with dwarfism and people of smaller stature playing these characters, but
should everyone who has a dwarf play an Oompa Loompa just because they're short?
But it's kind of odd. I guess that'd be so. Good question then.
Yeah.
Like, is there like
that's not even me being sassy. I'm also just
it's a
pondering
genuine
this
question.
too.
Yeah.
Like where's the line?
Do we always like now? You're like we were just talking about it to leak into this movie. We have people that are tropes.
Yes.
We have people that like. And that becomes really toxic. It becomes really terrible to have. And then you were like, every time that I was like, guess what's going to happen? You're like, I fucking know what's going to happen, Corey. I've seen this, like this idea. Like, why do you keep asking? I'm like, but imagine if there was, say, like, with the Oompa Loompas, like, there's 30 of them. Is it then, if you're going to cast every single one of them as smaller stature people dwarfism, is that almost like characterizing them? Like, you can only be this.
I think the thing with the
they're also like, I think Oompa Loompas are probably, if we look into that, it's probably like a whole other thing.
I don't think I want to.
Yeah, that's not. I think the whole issue with the Hugh Grant thing.
Are you a Hugh Grant hater?
Yes, but for different reasons.
It was great in the D&D movie.
I actually really enjoyed the D&D movie. It was really fun. I had a really good time. Like, I didn't.
You don't have to know anything about D&D, just have fun.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, but I feel like I didn't know what to expect, and when I watched it, I was like, this is way like I think they did a better job than maybe people were like expecting them to do. But I also don't play, so I mean. I
remember I got really pissed off of my friend because like. I kind of saw where he was coming from, because if you're not a big Michelle Rodriguez fan, you're probably just
fucking love Michelle
She
Rodriguez.
Was great in the
Who's
movie.
not a Michelle Rodriguez fan?
I can't even remember who I was talking to about this, but it was like, she can't act. And I was
what do you mean she can't act?
And I was so confused because I was like, she was one of the perfect barbarians that I could think of. She did a great job. Like, is she very different? Yeah, I guess if you're going to try and, like... say that somebody's typecast in a particular way, it's usually she's a badass chick. But I'm like, then you look at other like Sigourney Weaver, who is like the epitome, like starting off that I think from like my generation of like the badass female protagonist. I'm like, what movies did you see her in where she wasn't that? There's very few for quite a while. I'm like, she's making money. Two, she's doing a good job.
Do women owe you anything at all? Other like, oh no, she's being too tough and too macho. Like, can she even act? Like, it's like,
and it's funny because like to make a barbarian funny is actually quite hard. To make a bard funny, you just have to be stupid.
She was so fucking funny too.
Yeah, like Chris Pine had the easiest job. You make
Yeah.
a bard. That's their whole point in D&D is to be silly